So let's demystify a few perceptions and myths around entrepreneurship and business ownership based on my own personal experience in actually growing and building my very first startup. Now, I have been an entrepreneur, a business owner and a coach for probably the last 12 years, and I have tried a bunch of things and I have failed miserably in the past. Now, a lot of people think that I am who I am because I want to make lots of money or I want to create a huge impact. Well, kind of, yeah. The most important reason why I am who I am is that I don't know what else to do. And to be fair, there's a very good chance that actually I'm now quite unemployable. See, nothing else is challenging enough for me to keep this engaged. That's why I do what I do. But it's also very, very difficult to do any of this. And it can actually be challenging and quite soul-crushing to run a startup, a small business, a big business, or any damn business at all. So I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the 5 challenges that entrepreneurs and business owners actually face in their journey. Now, number 1 is self-doubt. The biggest challenge that entrepreneurs and business owners face is not from the outside. It's you. It's all about that grey matter in your head. It's the kind of internal struggle. Now, the constant self-doubt keeps screaming at you and it keeps making you question if you have what you need to succeed. And actually, if you leave it unchecked, self-doubt can probably eat away at you and make you very, very negative and a very depressed person. And that's not a good person. Now, that person, from my experience, cannot be and will not be a successful entrepreneur or a business owner. Now, the solution to this, in my own experience, is to learn something new for at least 1 hour a day. Go and read books, listen to audiobooks, and spend some time following the tweets of some very successful business owners and entrepreneurs. You see, the best way to eliminate self-doubt is to see others who have done it and they've been there and they've done that and got the t-shirt and they've got the belief. So if they can do it, why can't you? Number 2, managing complexity. Now, another big challenge for entrepreneurs and business owners is managing the complexity that comes with every single business and trying to run it. Now, compliance and taxation are very, very high on that agenda. We'll talk about it. Now, navigating your business through those complex structures will be anxiety-inducing and sometimes actually quite depressing. Now, work will come in small chunks and there will be many, many things to get done. Now, if you make a to-do list, be warned, it will become an infinite to-do list. And since the to-do lists are so damn long, actually you need to constantly prioritize tasks, outsource, delegate, and even bloody ignore some of these things until they're actually urgent or important. Now, the solution, and my best kept business secret to managing complexity, is that actually you have to work your ass off. This would mean working on the weekends, early mornings, late nights, and getting stuff done when you're kind of just waiting to do something else. Now, I remember a time when my ex-partner frowned at me because I spent 10 minutes replying to a very important email when we were waiting to board a flight. And actually, we ended up being the last to board the flight. But I kind of got the work done and it was just off my mind and we went on the plane and had a good holiday. But not one successful business is built without some sacrifice like this in the very early stages. Number 3, building an A-team. Okay, so entrepreneurship is not a job. Business ownership is not a job. It does sometimes feel like it, but for several years it's going to feel like that. In fact, in the beginning it feels like a real high-stress job with like multiple bosses, like your customers for a good example. And you'll feel like a lone captain of a ship with absolutely no crew. Now, some people eventually grow out of this, but some people get really stuck in there forever in this cycle because they just can't build an A-team. And no, it is not the crack squad of American soldiers jailed for crimes that they did not commit in the 1980s. No, the A-team is a team that takes care of your business and your customers as much as you do. Now, when you start building an A-team, things will slowly, and I mean slowly, start getting easier and you can focus on the long-term vision and the growth of your business rather than solving some really urgent but quite trivial things in the day-to-day operations of that business. Now, most entrepreneurs and business owners cannot build an A-team because the purpose of their business is, well, to build freedom and lots of money for themselves. And here's another secret. You can't attract an A-team with those kind of priorities. If you want to build an A-team and attract top talent for your business has to have a higher goal and a vision of making a huge impact in the world in which you inhabit. Now, a purpose-driven business attracts an A-team. A purpose-driven business attracts the right customers. And a purpose-driven business attracts those things that you seriously want when all is said and done. Number 4, managing close relationships. Now, this one's quite close to my heart. Now, many entrepreneurs and business owners find managing close relationships really difficult, especially romantic ones, and I should know about that, but this isn't actually about me. Now, unless your partner is extremely supportive and understanding of the mental state of a business owner or an entrepreneur, if you want to call yourself that, you might get torn between things to do at your work and things that you then need to do at home. Now, entrepreneurs have their minds constantly buzzing with ideas, things to do, worry and excitement about the future. And it's kind of like having a few applications running in the background on your computer all the freaking time. If you are someone who is married or you are living with a partner, entrepreneurship can be extra hard if your partner doesn't understand how your mind works. And if you add kids into that equation, I hate to say, it's probably going to get worse. Now, fortunately, I now have someone who understands it and gives me the mental space that I actually need to sort my business out. And if she asks me something, it probably takes 5 to 10 seconds to respond because there's a lot of things kind of running in my head all the time. Now, if your partner doesn't understand your mental stage and he's not supportive, getting into a long-term relationship while you're trying to build something is probably going to hurt that relationship and your startup venture. Now, you either find someone extremely supportive or kind of be cool with being single until you're confident that you've really built something worthwhile and which you can lean on for the future. There is no such thing, remember, as work-life balance for entrepreneurs or business owners, because for us, well, work is life and balance is pretty much what we choose to make it. Number 5. Now, number 5 is managing cash flow and finances. Yes, the boring one at the end. But a business is like a pet when you first start. Then it becomes like a demanding kid. Now, left unchecked, it can grow into a monster and just be really difficult all the time. Now, a business is an organism with so many parts, and all those parts together produce an output. Now, a business also needs input, and that input can take the form of capital, manpower, focus, creativity, teamwork, all that sort of stuff. The output is money, income, and profits. Now, a small business consumes less energy. A small business can still give more output than its input. If you want more output, the natural tendency is to increase the inputs. But many times that balance goes completely wrong. And I'm telling you now, things will start to break. I'll give you a good example. Let's take a marathon runner who can take like 2,500 calories a day and run for 20 odd miles. Don't know why, but they would. Now, you cannot expect to feed a 5-year-old boy 2,500 calories and expect him to run that same distance, can you? You see, it takes years to get to a level of fitness to do that. It is just not a measure of input. Now, a lot of business owners end up feeding too much to the business at a very early stage, and then the business gets sick. It takes a lot of gut decisions and instinct to manage capital, cash flow, and manpower at the very early stages of your business or as it grows. Now, unfortunately, in my experience, it's a skill that cannot be taught. It can only be learned through experience. And let's be fair, a global pandemic sure as hell probably hasn't helped. So most startups or wannabe growing businesses fail because the founder tries to scale the startup and things begin to break. When the output is less than the input for a long enough time, you end up with a business that is dead. This is where entrepreneurs look for external capital, but capital at the wrong time is like feeding too much to a baby. It takes a lot of courage to slow down something that is just itching to grow. Now, capital is a double-edged sword. You want a fit business, a lean business, but not an obese business. Fasting the input and letting things stabilize is the hardest thing to do in any business, but it's probably the most important thing to do as well. There is no straightforward solution to managing any of your cash flow apart from patience and experience. I've been Mark Ford, and those are 5 little secrets that stop startups and businesses from growing, and how to get around them. I'll see you soon.